Hi everyone, we are so glad that you are joining us today for our lesson. My name is Rachel Matthews and I'm a second grade teacher at Case and Lane Academy.
And my name is Shay Wilson. I'm a third grade teacher at Case and Lane Academy. We are so happy to have you joining us this afternoon. So, Miss Matthews, I know that everybody is so uptight being cooped up in the house these days, and I mean, it's such a beautiful day outside. This kind of reminds me of summer coming up, so we've got a bit of a sweet treat for you today.
I am so excited for summer, those hot summer days where we can go swimming. And you know what I think about when I think about summer?
What is that?
My favorite treat to cool me off on a hot day, ice cream.
Oh, I would have to say that ice cream is absolutely one of my favorite things to treat myself with.
Me too. What's your favorite flavor?
I'm gonna have to go with chocolate chip cookie dough. You can't go wrong with those little bits of cookie dough in each bite.
I love cookies and cream, but really I love all ice cream. Making ice cream at home is actually a lot easier than you probably think, and you also probably have a lot of the ingredients in your kitchen. Today we are going to show you how to make ice cream at home and talk about some of the science that's behind it. But before we dive into how to make the ice cream, we're going to read a fun book by Mo Willems about sharing ice cream.
This book is called Should I Share My Ice Cream? Ice cream! Get your cold ice cream for a hot day. Oh boy, ice cream. One ice cream, please. Here you go.
Oh boy, I love ice cream. Wait, Piggy loves ice cream too.
Piggy is my best friend. Should I share my ice cream with her? Oh, it looks like he's got a dilemma, Miss Matthews.
That would be really hard.
Should I share my awesome, yummy, sweet, super, great, tasty, nice, cool ice cream?
Maybe Piggy does not like this flavor.
That sounds like a pretty good excuse to me.
It does.
Sharing a flavor Piggy does not like would be wrong. I will eat the ice cream. Wait, Piggy will like this flavor. It is very yummy.
I will share my ice cream. It will not be easy. Hey, Piggy is not here. She does not know I have ice cream.
Oh, he's
getting
being
a little
sneaky.
He is.
I will eat the ice cream. Where is Piggy? What if she is sad somewhere?
I must find her. When I do, I will say, would you like some of my ice cream?
Then she will say, thank you. That would cheer me up. Then I will give her my ice cream to share.
Then my best friend will be happy. I will do it. I will share my ice cream.
Oh no, what happened, Miss Matthews?
It looks like he was thinking too long and it must have melted.
No! Now Piggy cannot have any of my ice cream. Now I cannot have any of my ice cream.
I blew it. You look sad. Would you like some of my ice cream? Thank you. That would cheer me up.
Yum. They sure do look pretty happy. That was not my plan.
Oh well, this works too.
Well, Miss Matthews, what did you think of that story?
I love that story, and I can really relate with the elephant in the story because it is really hard to share your favorite things, like a favorite treat or your favorite toys. Like, I remember one time my family took me out for my birthday to a restaurant, and they brought me one piece of cake for the whole table to share. And it was really hard because I really wanted to eat all of the cake myself, but I decided to share with my whole family. And it does feel really good inside whenever you share with others.
I don't know if I could be as strong as you, Miss Matthews. I have a pretty big sweet tooth when it comes to those things.
It is hard.
All right, now we are going to get to our book and we're going to relate it to our topic of the day, ice cream. So we're going to go to our learning goals for today. Our goal for today is you guys will describe the properties of solids, liquids, and gases through the use of descriptive words. So we're going to be relating the states of matter to our ice cream, and we're going to be looking for references in the story as well.
But Miss Wilson, what are solids, liquids, and gases?
Well, we're actually going to do a bit of a short review before we get started with our activity. First up, we've got solids. So a solid is a state of matter that's going to keep its own shape. And you can see in the picture, the little boy is holding a rock. The rock is keeping its own shape. And in solids, the tiny particles or atoms are inside and they are close packed very tightly.
So in the book that we read, this would be like when the elephant first got the ice cream. It was keeping its shape on the cone, so it was a solid.
Yes, very good. Can you think of any other examples?
Would an example be a table?
That would work.
Or a chair?
Yes, I believe so.
Or a book?
Yes, each of those things keep their own shapes and the atoms inside are packed closely together. Next, we're going to move on to liquids. A liquid is a matter that takes the shape of the container it's in, starting from the bottom. Now, in a liquid, the atoms are not going to be packed closely together. They're going to be a little bit spread farther apart. Can you think of an example from the story?
So I think this would be whenever he was thinking too long and he was holding his ice cream and then it started to melt. It kind of took the shape of the cone and then spilled over into the floor because it turned into a liquid.
Right, and we know nobody likes a melted ice cream. Can you think of some more examples, Ms. Matthews?
What about water?
Yes.
Milk? And apple juice?
Yes, each of those things will take the shape of whatever container that you decide to put it in. All right, we've got one more, and last we are going to go to a gas. So a gas is a matter that spreads out as far as it can to take up all the space it's in from the bottom to the top. The atoms inside gases move quickly and are very far apart.
To me, gases are a little harder to notice because a lot of times they're harder to see. But whenever I think of gases, I think about whenever you're cooking something on the stove in a pot and the steam that comes up, that is a form of gas. Maybe like smoke from a fire.
Yes.
And the air all around us that we breathe is a gas.
Yes, and I'm sure you're probably thinking, where were gases in the story? Well, just like Miss Matthews says, the air around our animals, that was a form of gas in the story.
All right, I think that we are ready now to start making our ice cream. So let's go over the ingredients and the things that you will need to make it.
All right, we are hoping that you can find many of these items in your pantry. First up, you will need 1 cup of half and half, 2 tablespoons of sugar, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, 3 cups of ice, 1/3 cup of rock salt, or you could use kosher salt, 1 sandwich zipper bag, 1 gallon size zipper bag, plastic spoons to enjoy this treat when you're finished, and then we also have an optional student activity to observe when we're done.
Do you know what I noticed about the ingredients list?
What is that?
Like half, 1/3. I'm noticing some fractions.
I do see that. I will say that I get lots of questions of, Miss Wilson, when will I ever use fractions in the real world? Well, when it comes to cooking, you actually see fractions quite often, especially when you want to double a recipe or you might need to half a recipe. You need to be able to multiply and divide as well.
All right, well, let's get started with our first step. The first thing that we need to do is mix the half and half, sugar, and vanilla extract together in a pitcher. A pitcher is a big cup like this. If you don't have one, you can use a bowl. All right, let's get started. I'll get the half and half.
So we need 1 cup of our half and half. I'm going to go ahead and get half of a teaspoon of vanilla extract. We've got our measuring cups here to help us because whenever we're doing this, we want to make sure that our measurements are exact. And then lastly, we need 2 tablespoons of sugar. There you go.
Thank you.
tablespoon. All right, after she puts the sugar in here, she's gonna give it a big mix. We really wanna make sure the sugar gets integrated well with the other ingredients. We don't wanna see any lumps of sugar. She's gonna give it a good mix to make sure everything is incorporated well.
All right, what's our next step?
All right, next what we're going to do is we're going to pour this into the sandwich zipper bag.
All right. Where's our sandwich zipper bag? All right, so we are going to take the mixture that's in the pitcher and make sure that you're very careful. I would have a friend hold the bag for you because it might be difficult if you're doing it by yourself. So we're going to pour that in. All right, and we want to make sure that we seal it tightly.
Yes, we don't want this spilling out.
All right, the next step is to get a gallon-sized Ziploc bag, and we are going to fill it up halfway with ice.
While she's doing that, I'm going to fill up my 1/3 measuring cup with our rock salt. Remember, you can also use kosher salt as well. She's almost got the ice. We're gonna put this in there, and later I will be talking about the science behind this rock salt and why it's really needed to make our ice cream.
Yeah, so Miss Wilson, we couldn't just use like regular salt?
Nope, it's gonna take rock salt or kosher salt to really, really get that ice cream forming. All right, there goes our rock salt. Then we're going to place our mixture that we had before inside the bag.
Seal it very tightly. Now it says to shake for about 7 to 10 minutes. We are going to stop shaking and record our results at 1, 5, and 7 minutes so that we can see the different changes that are taking place. Now I'm going to be shaking the bag and it is very loud. So I'm going to step to the side and set my timer, and Miss Wilson is going to go over something about a bar graph with you, and then I will come back and we'll talk about my findings.
All right, before we get to our bar graph, we've got a slide to share with you to show the science behind our ice cream. So, like Ms. Matthews mentioned before, adding the salt is very important to making sure our ice cream freezes. Adding salt to ice lowers its melting point. The ice absorbs heat from its surroundings, which is the bag of ice cream, and Ms. Matthews' hands also contain heat that's also going to be used as well. This is going to allow our ice cream mixture to freeze. So that is exactly what we want. Right now, the bag that we have, it's warm, it's liquidy. We want it to really form into that solid to where the atoms are going to be tightly packed together, because right now they're a little farther than we would like. All right, then since the mixture isn't water, it needs to be a little below 32 degrees to freeze. So I know that you all have heard this temperature before, especially when we have those snow days and you're really hoping for that snow to stick. 32 degrees is that temperature we're looking for. We want it to be nice and cold to make sure that it freezes. Adding salt allows the temperature around the mixture to get colder.
All right, Miss Wilson.
All right, what do we got?
It's been 1 minute, so I'm going to open up my bag. I'm going to check and look in my little bag here. It feels like to me that it's still a liquid.
Yes, it's definitely colder than it was before from the ice, but it's still taking the shape of the bag. And remember, in order for it to be the solid, it has to be able to hold its own shape. So do you want to record really quickly what we observed at our 1 minute mark?
Yes, and if you want to record at home, I made a very simple recording sheet where I just put 1 minute, 5 minutes, and 7 minutes. And so beside 1 minute, I'm going to put liquid.
Very good. And if you also want to add a few more things about what you're seeing, I always encourage my students to use some of their senses. So you can talk about what it feels like. I said it's very cold, it's squishy in the bag. Talk about what you're seeing. One thing I saw, Miss Matthews, was the bag on the outside. There was water dripping everywhere. What would we call that?
I think that's called condensation, and
Okay.
there's also a lot of condensation on the outside of the big bag too. And I'm noticing that something's happening to my ice.
Oh, it looks like it's melting.
Yes, it's almost completely water over here, so I think my ice is starting to melt too. So it started out as a solid, and now my ice is turning into a liquid.
Yes, that has to do because of the heat coming from Miss Matthews' hands, and our mixture was warm when we put it inside, so it's pulling heat from the inside bag as well.
All right, well, I will be back at the 5-minute mark to see what happens.
All right, while she's doing that, we are going to take a look at this pictograph. So Miss Matthews and I, we surveyed different teachers around the district and asked them what their favorite ice cream was. So looking at our graph, each ice cream is going to represent 2 people. So when you see a full ice cream cone, that means 2 people chose that ice cream. If we just see half of an ice cream cone, that's going to mean 1 person. So when we're looking at this chart, one thing I notice is that chocolate has the most ice cream cones listed. So in order to figure out how many people like chocolate, I'm going to count each of the cones. So remember, each ice cream full cone represents 2 people. So this is going to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then I have a half a cone that's going to be 1. So 11 people chose chocolate. Another thing I notice is that Rocky Road only has half a cone. That means only 1 person chose Rocky Road ice cream. That happens to be the least amount of votes on our pictograph. It looks like one of my favorites, chocolate chip cookie dough, is also pretty popular. It has 2, 4, 6, plus my half a cone, 7 people that chose chocolate chip cookie dough. All right, what we're going to do with this is we're going to take this information and we are going to make a bar graph with it. So all I did is something super simple that you can also do at home. I drew a big square. Down here at the bottom, I labeled my flavors. And then over here is where I'm going to put the people that chose it. And then of course our graph has to have a title at the top. So we're just simply going to graph, and this is just a different visual to where you can see which flavor might be the most popular or which flavor might be the least popular. Our first flavor that I'm going to fill in is vanilla. So again, looking up here, we're going to count to be sure how many people chose it. 2, 4, 6, 8, and then I've got a half, which would be 9. So that means I need to fill my bar graph up to the 9 mark. Well, I noticed on my bar graph, I don't have any numbers on here, so I've got to fill in my scale on the bar graph as well. So really quickly, I'm just going to count by 2s. Since the key on the pictograph was by 2 people, it's going to be pretty easy to just use the same and do 2 here. So the bottom's going to be 0, and then I'm going to count up 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I'll stop at 16 because I don't think a flavor had 16 people choose it. So vanilla was 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So that means I need to be at that 9 mark for vanilla. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to find 8. Halfway in between 8 would be my 9 mark. And then I'm going to draw my bar like so. And then fill it in a little bit. So 9 people chose vanilla. For chocolate, we had 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 people. So I see 10. I need halfway in between 10 and 12. That's going to be 11. Draw your bar. Color it in. And we can already see that more people prefer chocolate than vanilla ice cream out of the ones we surveyed. Next, we're going to go to strawberry. And only 4 people chose strawberry. I see my 4 on the mark. Draw my bar and give it a color. So far I see that strawberry is the least popular out of the 3. All right, it looks like we've got Miss Matthews coming back in. Let's check in with her really quick and see how our ice cream is doing.
Miss Wilson, my arms are getting tired.
I bet.
I need to add that you need to shake this hard, very vigorously for it to work. So I'm getting an arm workout.
All right,
but I'm
let's see what we've
excited
got.
to see the progress.
Well, look at that bag. It's definitely not as loose as it was before.
It's not. It's very squishy now. It's kind of seeming like it's almost in between a liquid and a solid.
Okay.
Why don't you feel it and see what you think?
Yes, it feels a lot more solid at the bottom. It's a little more loose at the top. But those particles, like we said before, it was a liquid, so they were farther apart, but now they're really starting to form together and get closely packed.
I'm getting a lot more condensation on the outside of this bag and this bag. And as you can see, there is a lot of water in this bag now, meaning that these ice cubes are really starting to melt.
Yes. You want to record really quick what we saw at 5 minutes, and
Yes,
then we
I
will
will.
get back to our bar graph charting. So we said we noticed it's cold. It's probably colder than it was before for you since you've been shaking the bag so long. It's a little more solid, but we said the bottom felt more solid, and the top, it's still a little bit loose. So those particles are really starting to move closer together and get packed. So hopefully by our 7 minutes, our ice cream will have fully formed by then, and Miss Matthews and I can enjoy a sweet treat.
Yes. All right. I will see you all at the 7-minute mark.
All right, we've got 4 more flavors to chart. Next is chocolate chip cookie dough. We had 2, 4, 6, 7 people choose that, so I'm gonna go in between my 6 and my 8 and find my 7 mark and chart my bar and then give it a color in. All right, mint chocolate chip. That one only had 1 ice cream cone, and remember, 1 ice cream cone represents 2 people, so mint chocolate chip had 2 people. Well, it looks like now we have a new flavor that's the least popular. That one's shorter than strawberry. It looks like chocolate. We can still see that it was still our most popular flavor. Next, we've got cookies and cream, which was Miss Matthews' favorite, and I must say that probably has to be my second favorite. I love Oreos and ice cream. We had 4 people choose cookies and cream. All right, so by looking at this, it looks like strawberry and cookies and cream have tied. The same amount of people have chosen that, and I know that because my bars both reach the same line. Last, we've got Rocky Road, and that one was only half an ice cream cone. And remember, half an ice cream cone is only 1 person. So I'm going to find my 1 mark and color that in. And that's it. Now we've got our bar graph that's completed. So again, this is just another visual that you can see the results. Rocky Road is the least popular out of all the flavors that we surveyed, and chocolate is the most popular. If you would like to add more math into that, you can compare flavors and you can ask how much more popular is chocolate over strawberry. Well, if chocolate is 11 and strawberry is 4, you would just subtract 11 minus 4 to get your answer. And then if you wanted to see how much more was mint chocolate chip than Rocky Road, again, you could subtract to find your answer. Another way to incorporate math into graphs and really understanding what you're reading. All right, I think Miss Matthews is all done, so let's see our final product.
All right, let's take a look and see if we have ice cream.
Well, look at that.
Feel the bag, Miss Wilson.
Oh, that definitely feels like ice cream.
Yes. I don't know if you can see inside, but it is definitely a solid now. It definitely has that texture of ice cream. Do you want to try it?
I would love to try it.
All right, here we go.
And one thing, we just made vanilla ice cream, but you guys are more than welcome. You could add in fun flavors, chocolate syrup, sprinkles. If you're like me and love cookie dough, add some cookie dough bites in there to make it a little more flavorful.
I have to say, this is delicious.
That is pretty good.
I can't believe that this started out as just a liquid in a bag.
I know, I didn't know that it was so easy to make ice cream at home.
That is awesome. And what have you all been working on?
Well,
that I've been going?
first, we looked at our pictograph that we had. Remember, we surveyed different teachers in the district to find out what their favorite flavors of ice cream were. So where does your favorite fall on the popularity list?
So it has 2 ice cream cones, and I see here the key says that 1 ice cream cone equals 2 people. So does that mean 4 people chose cookies and cream?
That's right.
Oh, well, it looks like chocolate definitely won.
I think it did. And then what we did was we took this information and then we created a bar graph from that.
Oh, I like seeing it in a bar graph. To me, it's easier to see with the bars.
Right, you can definitely tell with the different levels what was the most popular and what was the least popular.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Well, we are so glad that you joined us today. We hope that you try this out on your own and make ice cream. Please make sure to send some pictures if you do.
Yes, we would love to see pictures of you guys making this in your home. And yes, so we can see what you thought. Remember to add in some extra treats, sprinkles, get fun and creative with it. Yes, we would love to see that.
All right, well, thank you for joining us and have a great day.